Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Foliage. In today's video, I'm going to show you this absolutely beautiful, unique, rare plant. You will be surprised to know that this is actually a green rose plant. I know a lot of you guys have heard it. A lot of people think that a green rose is a fake plant, but it actually exists. But it is very different from our regular rose plant. That's what we are going to be talking in this video. Of course, I'll give you some care tips in case if you have this plant or you're planning to purchase this plant. Now, this plant is quite different from a regular rose plant, but it is also considered one of the most odd looking rose plant. Now, though it is very different from a regular rose plant, this is a rose plant. This was a chance mutation. Now, when I say chance mutation, it happened naturally. It was not something that was man-made. It naturally happened. A lot of plants do happen to have a natural mutation. So this was a chance mutation wherein the plant started to put out flowers, but there were no flowers. You'll get to know in a minute what I'm talking about. So this is our regular rose plant. As we all know, the rose has petals, it has the pollens, and it has the sepal. So this thing that you see that is on the lower portion of the flower, this is called as the sepal. The pointed green part is called as the sepal. So what happens with this plant, because of the mutation, it does not produce any flowers. Basically, the flower which has the petals, which has the pollens, the anther, does not exist. It only has the sepal. As I showed you, the lower portion, what is present on the rose flower, that is what this plant consists. When it initially starts to bloom, it looks like there is a rose that is about to bloom, but as and when it starts to open up, it only has these sepals which are green in color. Apart from that, there is nothing else that is going to bloom. So it is a kind of a mutation. Now, because it does not have a flower, there are no pollens, so this plant does not produce any seeds. Basically, this plant is sterile. It is an asexual plant. I'm not very sure how this plant is propagated. Of course, it is going to be propagated via stem cuttings because it's not going to produce any seeds, and hence this plant cannot be created into a hybrid, because if you're going to plan to create a hybrid, you need to have a plant with flowers, and that's how you exchange the pollens and create a hybrid. But when a plant does not have any pollens, it is impossible to create a hybrid. Now, initially this plant was only limited or was accessible to the royal family in China, but somehow the Britishers happened to sneak out some of these plants and they started to cultivate this plant back home. But today we have this green rose that is cultivated and sold. Again, as I said, the only option to multiply or to propagate this green rose is through stem cutting. So now let's talk a little bit in detail about the care tips. Now the care remains the same, just like how it is for a rose plant. Just because it does not have flower, it doesn't mean that it's not a rose plant. It has the same care requirements. That is, the soil has to be loose, porous, well draining, organic rich soil, retains a slight amount of moisture but not soggy wet soil. Ensure the pot has a drain hole. When you see around 1 to 2 inches of the upper layer of soil is dry, go ahead and do a complete watering until the water starts passing through the drain hole. Now, just like a rose plant, it is also a heavy feeder, so you can offer vermicompost, compost, or seaweed liquid fertilizer, any organic fertilizer. It's going to do quite well. Once the sepal starts to mature, it will turn lighter in color like this. When they are young, they are very dark green in color, almost like mint green. But eventually, once they start to age, they will turn lighter and you can cut them off and they will produce some more of these. So overall, it is the same care that we give for a rose plant. The only thing is that you will not find a red rose or a yellow rose or white or pink. It's just going to have these green sepals that are going to grow throughout the plant. Looks absolutely beautiful, very unique. I don't know if you're going to find it because I sourced this locally. Probably you can check it online. I was looking out for this plant for a very long time. Finally, I was able to get one of them. So we will see how it tends to work. Of course, in future, I will try to do a stem cutting. I'm not very sure right now. I'm just going to leave it as it is. because of late it is getting a little bit warm, so I do not want to do any cuttings. We will see how it goes. Tends to grow really tall. You can even give some support because the branches tend to get really long. I'll probably use a stick to give some support, because otherwise it's very windy over here. It can easily snap the stem. So I'm going to give some support to it. But overall the plant looks absolutely beautiful. This is another yellow rose. I did not have a yellow color, so I recently purchased this one. Looks absolutely beautiful, just about to bloom, and overall it's doing quite well. So that's about it, guys. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.